Mercedes' new 2026 engine just went through secret testing with McLaren, and the data was so explosive, the FIA went into immediate crisis mode. Sources say this power unit is generating figures that shouldn't even be legal under the upcoming regulations, and now the entire paddock is scrambling to respond. What did McLaren uncover during testing? Why are the FIA quietly planning a technical crackdown before the car even hits the grid? If you want the inside story before the 2026 drama explodes, hit that subscribe button right now, because what's coming next could change Formula One forever. The moment data from McLaren's closed-door testing session hit FIA servers, internal red alerts were triggered across technical departments. At the heart of the issue was the Mercedes PU26, a power unit developed under the new hybrid electric guidelines for 2026. While the FIA had expected all manufacturers to play within the lines of efficiency and sustainability, what Mercedes delivered went far beyond in power output, battery recovery rate, and aerodynamic synergy. According to technical insiders, this was not just a small advantage. It was a leap forward that risked destroying competitive balance before the season even started. During testing at McLaren's Woking facility, telemetry showed that the Mercedes engine was producing sustained peak performance under conditions where rival prototypes struggled with thermal degradation and recovery lag. Their hybrid mapping seemed to bypass conventional limits on energy deployment phases, particularly in exit zones where deployment is typically limited. This created a launch effect out of corners, essentially giving McLaren's test car a mini boost with every throttle input. FIA engineers immediately flagged the software as exceedingly efficient, a euphemism that often hints at regulatory gray zones. What alarmed the FIA most was not just raw speed, it was consistency. The power unit ran cooler than expected, with thermal balance stabilizing nearly 18% faster than benchmarked figures from Ferrari and Audi power units. That kind of thermal management not only boosts performance but also dramatically reduces wear across a race weekend. Combine that with rumors of an active cooling element embedded into the battery pack, and suddenly Mercedes' engine program looked less like innovation, and more like regulation-breaking cleverness. Behind closed doors, senior FIA figures began asking the same question: how did this engine pass compliance simulations? Several anonymous engineers claim the issue may stem from the way Mercedes segmented the energy flow during simulation phases versus real-world deployment. In simpler terms, the FIA's own algorithm might have been tricked by predictive modeling that underreported performance during certification, while the real-world engine used smart calibration to unleash significantly more energy per lap. This gap between expected and actual behavior is now creating political tension. Smaller teams who have no access to such advanced predictive tools are pressuring the FIA to intervene early, warning that if no action is taken before pre-season testing, 2026 could be over before it begins. Williams and Haas, in particular, are demanding an emergency technical directive to re-clarify power unit compliance thresholds. According to one team principal, if this isn't reined in now, everyone else is just fighting for scraps. Meanwhile, McLaren's involvement has added another layer of intrigue. While they are a Mercedes customer team, the fact that they were the ones to first test and report this data has sparked rumors of a deeper technical alliance, potentially giving them a head start over other Mercedes-powered outfits. Some insiders now believe McLaren is strategically positioning itself as Mercedes' development arm for the 2026 season, with access to telemetry weeks ahead of other teams. In short, what was supposed to be a standard winter test has triggered a full-blown FIA response plan. Between compliance investigations, political pressure from rival teams, and the sheer pace advantage hinted at in early data, this Mercedes power unit may force F1's governing body to rewrite parts of the 2026 technical regulations before a single lap is raced. And for fans, the question is simple: is this the beginning of a new era of dominance, or will the FIA shut it down before it begins? When Mercedes began constructing their 2026 power unit, they weren't just chasing horsepower, they were targeting energy deployment dominance. The new hybrid regulations place a greater emphasis on battery management, ERS recovery, and efficient energy redeployment. And Mercedes? They found a loophole that no one else saw. Through an advanced dual-mode energy system, engineers achieved a dynamic switching pattern between MGUK and MGUH phases that reduced drag while extending boost availability by up to 12% per straight. At the center of this innovation is a new software-integrated thermal control unit, which manipulates the energy discharge curve in real time depending on torque demand. Rather than a fixed deployment, Mercedes' unit adapts based on throttle pressure, track grip level, and tire degradation. During the McLaren test, it became evident this system allowed the car to exit corners with nearly zero latency in power delivery. That kind of response is not only rare, it borders on active assistance, a gray area the FIA is now closely scrutinizing. Equally concerning to FIA analysts was the interplay between aero load and power unit behavior. On long straights, where most teams rely solely on passive drag reduction, the McLaren car showed signs of achieving enhanced straight-line speed despite visibly higher downforce. The only plausible explanation? Mercedes has found a way to time aero activation with energy release, effectively syncing active aero adjustments with ERS bursts, creating a propulsion effect that mimics DRS, without actually deploying DRS. This goes against the spirit of the regulations. FIA documents explicitly state that energy systems must not be used to artificially increase top speed beyond defined deployment zones. If Mercedes' system is using intelligent synchronization to boost performance at unintended moments, it could lead to sweeping software audits across all engine manufacturers. And if proven, it would force the FIA to issue a technical directive possibly even before pre-season shakedown begins. McLaren, for their part, remain silent. Their technical team has neither confirmed nor denied the presence of these features, but insiders note an unusual pattern. During simulations, McLaren engineers requested several non-disclosed mapping packages from Mercedes packages that other customer teams never received. This implies a possible exclusive configuration deal in the works, giving McLaren early access to power unit settings unavailable to Aston Martin or Williams. The political consequences could be massive. Rival engine suppliers like Ferrari and Audi are now lobbying for stricter validation processes in FIA's homologation cycle. If Mercedes is allowed to continue under the current certification process, it might force other manufacturers to delay their own rollouts just to recalibrate designs. That could leave half the grid unprepared for the new era and throw the competitive landscape into chaos. Ultimately, this is a fight not just about engineering excellence, it's about how far teams can go before innovation becomes exploitation. Mercedes may have created a masterpiece, but if the FIA deems it to be outside the boundaries of fair competition, we could see another 2014-style reset. And if McLaren becomes the laboratory for that domination, the rest of the field will be playing catch-up for years to come. Behind closed doors at FIA headquarters, the alarm bells are no longer just ringing, they're screaming. The combination of Mercedes engine revelations and McLaren's silent compliance has led to what insiders are calling a regulatory red alert. The issue isn't just the tech, it's the timing and secrecy. These developments were not officially disclosed during the recent technical meetings, meaning Mercedes may have strategically delayed sharing critical data until their concept was already track-proven. This move has blindsided other engine manufacturers. Ferrari, Audi, and even Honda have all expressed concern that they were operating within assumed technological boundaries Mercedes now appears to have redefined unilaterally. The strategic advantage here isn't just mechanical. It's informational. If Mercedes has been sitting on a powertrain this advanced, while others waited for FIA clarifications, then we are no longer talking about a technical edge, we are facing a strategic ambush at the heart of the 2026 regulations. For McLaren, this situation is as delicate as it is powerful. On the surface, they're simply a customer team. But the exclusive access to test early versions of Mercedes' 2026 unit has raised serious questions. Why McLaren? Why not Aston Martin? Why was this level of testing concealed under general power unit trials? The fact that McLaren has said nothing, neither denying nor confirming involvement, is only fueling speculation that a deep partnership agreement exists, one that may compromise regulatory neutrality. The FIA, recognizing the growing distrust among teams, is now working on a potential emergency clarification directive. If implemented, this directive would enforce real-time telemetry sharing during all manufacturer testing, not just at FIA-controlled sessions. This means any future McLaren-Mercedes sessions would require full data disclosure, effectively eliminating the strategic shadow testing that gave Mercedes its current head start. This is also a huge dilemma for Formula One management. Liberty Media wants innovation. The fans want drama. But the sport also requires perceived fairness to maintain its credibility. If the FIA cracks down too harshly, they risk killing off the most revolutionary engine development since the hybrid era began. If they go too soft, teams will lose trust in the regulatory process, and we may witness a breakdown in collaboration ahead of the 2026 rollout. Strategically, Red Bull finds itself in a unique position. With their in-house RBPT Ford power unit still in development, and the new less technical team restructuring, this shakeup could play to their advantage if the FIA levels the field in time. Otherwise, they may enter 2026 with a performance gap too large to recover. It's no longer just about horsepower. The grid is now split between those who knew early, and those who did not. The greatest twist? According to one Paddock insider, Mercedes may still be holding back more. This McLaren test could have been a calculated leak, designed to measure the FIA's response. If true, it means we haven't even seen the final version of their 2026 engine package. And if that's the case, the real war for 2026 hasn't even started yet.